Enable. Quest presents New Dynamics of India's Workforce in association with CNBC TV18.
Hello and a very warm welcome to our special series Quest Corp presents New Dynamics of India's Workforce in association with CNBC TV18. I'm your host Paramita Chatterjee. Today we stand at the precipice of a new industrial age marked by innovation, sustainability and the relentless pursuit of excellence in manufacturing. The dynamics of India's manufacturing workforce has been undergoing a profound change. The traditional assembly lines are now transformed with automation, artificial intelligence, and a need for fresh skills that extend well beyond traditional labor boundaries. Now, in the midst of this transformative shift, how are our manufacturing industries reassessing their strategies for talent acquisition, skill development, and workplace dynamics? In the landscape of New India's manufacturing sector, the workforce is not merely a collection of skilled individuals, it is the driving force behind economic progress, technological innovation, and societal evolution. Our discussion today is not just about the mechanics of production lines or the integration of cutting-edge technologies. It goes much beyond. It's about the human element, the men and women who form the backbone of our manufacturing prowess. So from the integration of Industry 4.0 technologies to the social responsibility of industries in uplifting the workforce, we are set to explore the multifaceted dimensions that define the manufacturing workforce in New India. So let's jump into this conversation and take a moment to meet with our panelists who will be sharing with us their diverse points of view on the discussion today. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you on the show today Rajiv Kapoor, Managing Director, Manav Rachna Education Institutions; Gaurav Gupta, Vice President, HR, Subros Limited; Lohit Bhatia, President, Workforce Management, Quest Corp; and Arjun Singh, CHRO, Dixon Technologies Limited.
Hello.
So there's a lot afoot. So let me start with the big picture. And I gave a little bit of what we are likely to discuss. But Lohit, as somebody who's really looking at the entire workforce of manufacturing, and indeed it's growing by leaps and bounds at Quest, take us through the kind of opportunities as well as the challenges that exist in this stage of the manufacturing revolution, so to speak, that we are witnessing in India today.
India is about 1.4 billion people, and of whatever we've achieved in this country in the last 76 years, especially since the first liberalization of 91, we've kind of in the last 3 decades taken care of people who were postgraduates, who were white-collar workers, people in the services sector predominantly, and they have benefited from everything that India has done. Today, what is happening in manufacturing in India is talking about the bottom of the pyramid. Why the bottom of the pyramid is because that's where the 300 million people in India, the vulnerable people who could either be supported by Manrega, or who could be in informal jobs or unorganized jobs, or who could be part of your rural economy. They are the ones who are crying out loud to come upwards and come and become part of the economic gain of what India is seeing. So where manufacturing aids and supports is in the ecosystem which is getting created. One, thanks to COVID in some ways, there's this China plus one alternate that the world has realized. Second, India has clearly understood that we have the benefit of the land, the labor, and the resources and the raw materials in this country. Third, we are a country of 1.4 billion, so let's not forget, we are bigger than entire Southeast Asia, Australia, and the rest of parts of the Middle East put together as an economic powerhouse for the domestic consumption itself.
Right.
And fourth, if infrastructure and everything is put right, then we also become a powerhouse for exports. So what we are trying to now encompass and focus is trying to leverage those resources and benefits of India to give to the rest of Indians that they haven't seen the benefits in the last couple of years.
Rajiv Kapoor, let me come to you here. You are the Managing Director at Manav Rachna Education Institutions, but you also have a rich vein of experience in the whole manufacturing industry space. You know, the legacy issues which exist, and especially when it comes to the availability and quality of skilled manpower to really service the kind of needs and growth and ambitions of whether it's the young who want to be employed or it's industry who want to hire industry-ready people. I mean, how do we sort of fill this gap?
An industry basically wants both the ends to be met. They are wanting workforce which is trainable, which is having a basic level of education. They are brought into the industry, and industry runs their own center of excellence. They have dojo centers. They train them, and they can understand technology, what is required in the organization. Now come to the level of staff people, the staff workforce. I think that is where industry is looking at academia to provide industry-ready people who can come and hit the ground running in the industry. So that is where the academia is now collaborating with the industry very, very effectively. I would say in the last 4 or 5 years, there's a tremendous shift because industry has also reached out to academia. Academia has also stood up and has started reacting to the needs of the industry. And I can quote cases where the industry people have curated curriculum for the latest trends in, let's say, what the industry needs. I'll quote an example. We are initiating a MSc degree in environmental and sustainability because of the needs the industry has on the ESG. If you go out today to scout for ESG related talent, you might not get anyone. Right. Very, very few people are trained on that. So now that is the need of the industry.
Gaurav Gupta, let me come to you here. And at Subros, the whole point of this industry-academia collaboration is to have ready a workforce which is really at par and meets your requirements. Would you say, is that the biggest challenge as somebody who's heading, human resources?
See, as Mr. Kapoor just mentioned, so historically we used to get manpower and spend a lot of time training them, and with industry growing at such a fast pace, we need to work on the quality of manpower, the quality of output that is being produced in the industry. So we have been working with various institutions, colleges on what all the skill set required for skills like automation, skill like how to use AI, how to comply to the quality norms of the shop floor. All of those things we overall industry have, as Mr. Kapoor also mentioned, we have center of excellence wherein we hire people, we'll train them, but that takes a lot of time. So the right time has now come. On various aspects we are working, and government has been supporting us by various schemes. There are various incentives around these schemes, right, that helps both the industry and academia to be actually working on.
Rajiv, I'll just come to you, but I want to get in Arjun's point of view here, because true, a lot of work being done actively by industry, but you need this talent on scale, right? I mean, if you want to be China +1, you need to be able to have thousands of skilled people who are able to churn out the kind of quality that you need. How do you address that challenge? Is that a major challenge as well?
It is, because we are #1 in the electronics manufacturing space. And as we speak, we have almost 30,000 people working with us in different business units. And the fact that the way we have approached the situation is that we have not made one-size-fits-all approach, right? So there are skills which we can buy, there are some skills which we can build. And what is the time limit that I have to buy or build that skill? And that decides my strategies. For example, if I look at mobile assembly as one of the areas that we focus on, that's an area we can turn around the talent in maybe 2-3 days time by training them on basic skills.
Right.
But if you look at the other skills which are kind of a futuristic skills, whether it is to do with automation, digital, sustainability, that's an area wherein we do not have that strength, and that's where we go for a buy kind of a strategy. Now the point is, am I ready enough to get this kind of 30,000 people on ground running at a fast pace? And that's where my hiring strategy changes almost on a daily basis. So the way we go about it is to look at where exactly is the pool of talent sitting. Do we really have this pool of talent sitting here in Noida or UP? Maybe not, maybe yes. And that's where my hiring strategy is completely dependent on what is my business plan looking like, in which area we really need to have more people, what is it that I need to have on ground so that my business is running 24/7. And that is where the fact that we collaborate with the government bodies, like we collaborate with ITIs, We even collaborate with the local MPs and MLAs. We do various kinds of Rozgar Melas to tell people that there is an opportunity, there is a demand, and then there is availability of people outside of Noida, and we bring them
So there is a serious hunt for talent and a hunt for talent at scale. Rajiv, you had a point to make.
Yeah, I was just trying to add to what Gaurav was mentioning on the centers of excellence. So every organization has a center of excellence within, but from an academia perspective, in the universities, there are center of excellences which are collaborations between the university and the industry. Let's say to quote, we have Microsoft, we've got Maruti Suzuki, we've got Hero, we've got Daikin having center of excellences at our place. So which means the industry comes in to the academia space.
And they're actually training the academia.
Yeah, they're there.
Right.
They're very much there, and the students are interacting with their experts and learning what is the requirements of their industry.
And that's how hopefully we are able to turn around
Absolutely.
this huge pool of talent. Yes.
That actually helps industry. For example, so if we are working internally on a center of excellence, so there is skilling, there is upskilling, and there is reskilling. So the skilling part is sort of outsourced to academia. So we in industry can actually work on upskilling the present people that we have, and at the same time with the evolving industry or e-mobility coming up, we can lay more focus on reskilling, wherein we are rotating people, we have future ready manpower available with us, those who understand industry overall.
On that note, let's head towards a quick break. We'll be back with more insights as Quest presents New Dynamics of India's Workforce. Stay with us.
Quest presents New Dynamics of India's Workforce in association with CNBC TV18. Quest presents New Dynamics of India's Workforce in association with CNBC TV18.
Welcome back to Quest Corp presents New Dynamics of India's Workforce. We're in the midst of an insightful discussion. Let's continue. I mean, at Quest Corp, this is clearly a huge area of opportunity. And if you throw in the technological innovations which have come in, it sort of complicates things and also creates more opportunities, right? How are you sort of addressing this huge window of demand and opportunity?
So one, it's growing by leaps and bounds. Obviously, around the table, you've heard how people are hiring today. The second, what Quest has done over the years is we've got 96 hiring centers and hubs. And these 96 centers are where our 500 mobilizers and recruiters every day function from. But more importantly, like Arjun was mentioning, if there is a ramp up, you'll have to design that for that ramp up, what is the most conducive person and from which district of the country or from which state can they be mobilized and moved. Today, it's not just ended there. Today, the conversations are going that once you start to mobilize them, what do you do for the first 30 days of their stay? What do you do for 3 months?
Good.
So as you'll find that there is a cultural difference, the second could be there's language barrier. The third is there's food, which is different. The stay arrangements, the kind of entertainment that people are looking at. So today, those policies which erstwhile were only discussed in banks or in large retail companies or in large consumer companies have started getting discussed in manufacturing companies as well. So with our customers also, the similar kind of conversations happen that we can put up dormitories for you. We can have a place where the workers can come and stay, which could be conducive for them for all of these questions to be answered.
That's fascinating. So clearly the demands of workers has really gone up. Yes, Arjun.
If I can add to Rohit's point, 6 or 7 months back, we had huge attrition challenges. And the fact that we focused on the basics of roti, kapla and makan, because that is what the need of bottom of the pyramid workforce is. We cannot do much about the kapla, but at least we will ensure that you get decent quality food. And we at least make sure that since we are the one who are bringing you from faraway locations, we'll also have a place for you, so that you are not worried about finding a location before you come and start working at our plant. And that's where this emotional cord actually helped us get their commitment.
In fact, let's address that attrition aspect to Lohit, because that must be something that many of your clients would be coming back saying, please let me have a good night's sleep and not think about how many people are not going to be on my rolls tomorrow.
So absolutely, I mean, and taking on from what Arjun also earlier mentioned, we carved out a program within the group called Sampoorn Rozgar. We said we are all in this to provide Rozgar, which is employment, but how do you form total employment? And that's what we at Quess call it as Sampoorn Rozgar. So whenever we go to a large customer, and today, mind you, in manufacturing, the numbers that you hear about from clients is not 500 or 1,000 anymore. It's let's begin at 3,000 or 5,000. Let's take it up to 50,000. Those are the kind of numbers.
This is like the heydays of IT services, the
Absolutely,
growth there.
absolutely. And the hesitation of the 70s, 80s and 90s are very much behind us. So manufacturers are also thinking big, they are planning big, and they definitely want to solve for this. So under Sampoorn Rozgar, Quess across all its service lines puts together dormitories. We have a facility management company which provides the janitorial services and all the safety and hygiene. We have a security company which looks after the women workers and ensures that nothing untoward incident happens.
And interesting, you use the word security. And Rajiv, if I may come to you here, you know, some of the newer, we were talking about the new skill requirements. I mean, soft skills is clearly one aspect as you sort of go up the chain. You know, we're talking a lot about sustainability. We're talking a lot about cyber security. How do they translate into the kind of skills and the training that this new workforce needs to acquire?
Cybersecurity has become extremely important even from a manufacturing perspective. So we are having courses, we are having a tie-up with experts who come into the campus, teach not just the students but the faculty also on the latest trends in the phishing attacks, what's happening, how to prevent them. We continue to have hackathons. And also I would like to add another dimension. We just talked about new people coming into manufacturing. What about the people who have been in manufacturing for the last 20-25 years? How do they upgrade to the new technology? That is one more area where the academics come in, because we provide courses for employed people which are online courses. They don't have to take leaves or anything. They can join online classes and upgrade their knowledge and skills.
And here I'm going to ask for the future trends or the future investment areas. Arjun, let me start with you. What's going to be your key priority in order to ensure that India continues to be a focus area, and yours, including Dixon, that they continue to invest and see the kind of opportunities in India's manufacturing arena?
So first of all, I think it is just not China plus one, because there are many other markets which are also competing to India. So it is China plus 3 or 4 now what we are looking at. Now we have to be sustainable for long term, and that's where the current, support that you are getting from government will not be there for long term, and that's where the industry is actually preparing, so that even if without a PLI, how is the industry progressing? And that's where the entire aspect of us is focused towards productivity, efficiency, and that's the kind of skill we are trying to build. One of the values that we have at Dixon is called as frugalness, and that's where we are teaching everyone what's the action that you take and what is its financial impact, so that everyone is being seen as an entrepreneur. They are the one who take, and that's where the autonomy and mastery comes into the picture. And that is what we are trying to tell people. We are investing hugely on digital and automation. So to answer your question, do you manage touch points? Yes. We have an AI-based tools which actually throws questions to people basis the previous response. So there is a lot of investment that we have done even in HR systems and processes, more from a digital standpoint. But at the same time, the industry is moving towards automation, and that is where the sustainability of the industry will be. We cannot rely on the past laurels that we have a cheap labor force. That's not going to help us anymore. We need to be more productive. We need to invest in technology. We need to automate.
Gaurav, in terms of your key focus areas as a priority for your company, because India was always traditionally a labor-intensive, perhaps not at the cutting edge in terms of quality and also scale requirements for the manufacturing world. What are the levers that you will be looking at to change that?
So I'm coming from auto industry, so I can, in auto industry, as all of us know, it requires a great deal of quality standards, right? So we are talking about e-mobility, we are talking about electrical vehicles coming in, so that requires an altogether different skill set. Unfortunately, those skill sets are not available in the colleges, in terms of their ready consumption in the industry.
Right.
We, one of the focus area for us is working with the academia in terms of these skills are taught in the, in the colleges.
Okay, winning streak for this to continue into the future, Rajiv, given your rich vein of experience, what more does academia need to do?
I think we are wanting to remain ahead of the curve. We are looking at a time when the industry comes to us and we have ready people for them. So I think that is what our focus overall is. And let me also add one more dimension. The government has this corporate social responsibility segment under the Companies Act. Now, many organizations are contributing to upskill. They are contributing, they are investing their CSR funding into bringing skills up to a level.
Right.
So, educational institution like us, let's say we have a concern called Skill Ed. So, we are training people in lakhs of people, lakhs of youngsters into those skill sets which are required by the industry. Industry is funding those. We are training, we are writing the content, we are training them, we are getting them back to the industry. I think the entire ecosystem is now coming together.
And I think that's what's required.
Absolutely.
So the ecosystem is coming together, collaboration, fostering entrepreneurship, innovation. But finally, at the end of the day, Lohit, it's companies such as Quess which needs to service the kind of demands, not just for now, but also for the future. So how are you building for the future? So
Quess has recently signed an MOU with NSDC so that everybody who's passed out of an ITI or any of the upskilling programs are available for Quess and the ecosystem and all its customers to view that talent, to place their jobs and take people from there. Similarly, we have a mission like this with Ministry of Labour, with the NCS portal as well. And again, there are over 3 crore people, almost 30 million people who are through the employment exchanges available there. So one obviously is solved for the people part of it. The second solve is for the process part of it. At every stage of the industry and every stage of the ecosystem of manufacturing, we have to be ready. India is a year or 2 years away from the first of the semiconductors to be rolling out. So this is the time when we have to see what is the talent available with the amount and competence of the skills. How do you upskill them further? And as somebody around the table will take that talent into their factory, what is the readiness there? Well, we hope it's brought you interesting insights. It's been a fascinating journey. Thank you so much for being a part of it, gentlemen. And thank you for joining us today on yet another edition of Quess Corp Presents New Dynamics of India's Workforce. Thank you for watching.
Quess presents New Dynamics of